Changemakers are empathetic allies, and the pressure to outperform ourselves in service of our communities often pushes us into a cycle of burnout. So, if you are a social advocate, a creative, an influencer, a change maker, and you're confronting burnout because you're pushing back against systemic oppression to create a new world, a more just and equitable world, know that the more you create, it's very possible that the more resistance you will confront. So, how does one deal with chronic stress and burnout that comes as a result of pushing too hard against the system and for systems change? In this video, I'll tell you 3 things I do every day to support myself from falling into the cycle of burnout. One, I take a walk and even sit on a bench in the park to connect with the non human world. I sometimes look at the birds and squirrels in the eyes, and when I make eye contact with animals, I realize that they are so much more aware of the human presence because their survival depends on it than we are of their presence around us. And when I start thinking along the lines of, okay, what is the squirrel doing right now and thinking right now? I don't know if he's thinking or if she's thinking. But the train of thought that comes as a result of making that connection with the non human world really brings me out of my usual ways of thinking that are, fired with stress neurons. So when I come back home from these short walks and immersion in nature, I find myself gather perspective and really feel part of the bigger universe around me. Second thing I do every day is to ground myself through meditation practice. And this is something that we can do together, and I'll create a video for us to meditate together as well. And the third thing I do to support my self care is to monitor my thoughts. There are times when I make a mistake or fail at something during the day, and I find the kind of words that probably no one has ever said that to me, but I just have absorbed it from somewhere. Or, my inner critic is internally generating those thoughts, which go something like, Goat, you will never be able to dot, dot, dot. And I watch out for these absolute negatives that are going in my head. So whenever I catch myself having these difficult thoughts, I try to dismantle their power just by recognizing that they are there and they do not define me and my potential. And if I can't do it on my own, then I do take the courage to reach out for help. So I know it is hard when you're imagining a much more equitable and just world than what you're currently inhabiting. And I feel the way you work for your cause. And if you're experiencing challenges in your advocacy journey, I would like to invite you to book a complimentary 40-minute advocacy burnout to breakthrough call. I'm not a therapist, but I'm a coach, and I will make a safe space for you to discuss your challenges and ask you some questions which will give you more clarity on how to move forward. So, if this at all resonates with you, please do not hesitate to contact me. And my email is shamaila@deeplisteningpath.ca. And feel free to book an appointment with me on my calendar. I look forward to chatting with you. Have a great day.